Welcome back to Trucking in the Seven Seas. This is episode number 83, and in this episode, we're going to go over week 3 of running my own authority. In this episode, we run primarily in the Midwest and the South, and we end up hitting some pretty bad weather along the way, so you just saw it, and we're going to go over that here in a bit. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I started this channel in order to show exactly what truck drivers make. We started as a company driver, working for night transportation, moved on to a lease operator, working for night transportation, then an owner-operator working for Landstar, and now we are an owner-operator running our own authority. I show all of the loads I take, what the revenue is, what the expenses are, and what my net cash flow is, and I compile all of this information that I put into a spreadsheet that I share with you at the end of every video. So if this is a topic that interests you, follow the channel. But last episode, we left off in Flowery Branch, Georgia. So we dropped a load in Flowery Branch, Georgia, and then we had a layover issue and then some ELD issues. We got that fixed, and then we were ready to go. So it was about Friday when that happened. So I wanted to find a weekend load. So I wanted to get around 1,000 miles is what I was looking for. So I was looking around, and then I ended up finding, I guess I'll put it over here, or maybe up top. I ended up finding this load right here. This one is going from Mableton, Georgia, which is Atlanta, so about 50 miles away, and then it's going to Rice Lake, Wisconsin, which is kind of by Menominee, kind of by Minneapolis area. So I found this one, paid $16.50, which not that great. However, that's a decent area up there, so you can get out of there for a decent rate. And also Atlanta, the rates outbound don't pay very well. There's a lot of volume coming out of Atlanta, but there's also a lot of trucks. So you can get to where you need to go from Atlanta, but it's usually not going to pay very well. So, I mean, if you go there, it's fine. But it's, a lot of loads, but also way more trucks. So the rate's never going to pay that great. So I found this one, went ahead and booked it. Not my favorite thing to book, but it is what it is. Got me through the weekend and goes to a pretty decent area. The Minneapolis market is pretty decent. So I went ahead and booked this one. And now we are going to head to Rice Lake, Wisconsin. Let's go. All right, so we dropped that Rice Lake, Wisconsin load. Went smoothly, got us through the weekend. We did a reset on Sunday, so that worked out really well. So dropped it Monday morning, and we were ready for another one. And I'm looking to basically run kind of from the Midwest to Texas or the South. So basically just run like north-south sort of thing between the Midwest and the lower region there, Texas to like Atlanta, basically is what I'm looking to run. So that's what I'm looking to do on a regular basis. Those are about 1,000-mile runs, so it's pretty decent, and it's from one decent market to another decent market, generally speaking. So that's what I'm looking to run. So I was looking around and trying to find something headed south for around 1,000 miles. And after I dropped the Rice Lake load, I said in the last episode that I was going to try to basically wait till the end of the day to book a load in order to see if I could find a desperate broker who needed to haul a load in a hurry. So that's what I ended up trying to do. So I went to the load board and, I made 5 or 10 offers, I don't know, on various loads. And just, I made offers that they didn't want to take. They were slightly above what they wanted to give. And when they obviously declined, I just waited. So that's what I did. And just waited and waited and waited. So I did that, made 5 or 10 offers, and then I just waited till like 3 or 4 p.m. Basically, I waited the entire day. And there's a saying, if you play stupid games and you get stupid prizes, well, I got a stupid prize on this one. It didn't work. Nobody called me back. So, I dropped that load basically Monday morning and then made all those offers and then waited, and nobody ever called me back. So that plan did not work out at all. So I ended up sitting basically all day Monday. It didn't work. So that sucked. I thought I might give that a shot. It was worth a try, basically, to see if it worked. But maybe it was the market I was in. It's a pretty good market up there as far as the price goes, but there's not a whole lot of volume. I think that was part of the problem. I tried it in a market where there isn't a lot of volume. So I think that was part of the problem. And also, being a new MC, I don't have access to all of the brokers. Maybe if I had access to more brokers, access to more loads, something like that may have worked. But in this instance, it didn't work. So I ended up making those offers, trying to do that, and it just didn't go. It just didn't work. So that sucked. I decided that I was just going to deadhead over basically closer to Minneapolis and wait until the next day to find a load. So that's what I did after about 3-4 p.m. Okay, my plan didn't work. I tried to book something a couple of times, but it it was too late, basically. So went over to Minneapolis and then just spent the night there in that area. So that's what I did. And then I woke up the next morning and basically found a load that was right next door to Rice Lake. So I ended up finding, I'll put it wherever over here, this load right here. So this one's going from Ladysmith, Wisconsin to Hope, Arkansas. And Ladysmith, Wisconsin is like 30 miles away from Rice Lake. So I ended up dropping a load in Rice Lake, deadheading over to Minneapolis because I figured that would be where the next load would come from, only to deadhead right back, right straight across Rice Lake and then go to Ladysmith, Wisconsin, which was just like 30 miles to the east of me. So yeah, that didn't work at all. You know, you play stupid games and you can get stupid prizes, and I got a really stupid prize on this one. So that happened, but we booked this one, this load, Ladysmith to Hope, Arkansas, paid pretty decently, $21.50. So that's not too bad, $21.50 for a 1,000-mile load. So for context, the first load, by the way, I have all the information over here on my computer. That's what I'm looking at right now. So the first load from Atlanta to Rice Lake paid $16.50. And then the next load I booked from basically Rice Lake to Hope, Arkansas, paid $21.50. So if you average it out, it's about $1.90 per mile for both of those runs, and they're 1,000-mile runs. So in this market, I don't think that's too bad, right? It's a terrible market. So if I can just do that, be doing okay-ish. You know, I think that's okay in this market with a dry van and a new MC. I think if I run like that, it's okay, I think. Anyways, so we booked this one, Ladysmith, Wisconsin to Hope, Arkansas. So that's what we did. And now we're going to Hope, Arkansas. Let's go. Okay, so we delivered that load to Hope, Arkansas, but along the way, things, well, they kind of went south a little bit. So all week I've been dealing with some significant wind. So the wind had been pretty bad just all week. Just a lot of wind all over the place. Some of it actually was causing tornadoes in the area. So there were some tornado warnings in the area as well. But the wind had just been really bad all week. It wasn't stopping me though, because the wind had consistently been north to south. And that's where I was running. So I was running, you know, north to south, south to north, and the wind was going basically north to south the entire time. So that's what was happening on this day. So around Illinois, so I stopped in Illinois the first day, and then I kept going the next day. The wind was really bad. So it was getting terrible. Now, it was still running north to south, and I was going south. So it was a headwind, and it was also really heavy. So that made it so I can keep going. So I was heavy and it was a headwind, which, okay, that's annoying, but I can make it through. Now, if it had been a crosswind, I wouldn't have been, I would not have been able to continue, even being heavy, because the wind was, it was too bad. So, yeah, wind was really bad. I was going through it, and it was okay. Like, I can get through it, but it wasn't fun at all. So I was going, but then when I crossed the border between Missouri and Arkansas, things just hit the fan. So started going, and right about at, where was I, Jonesboro, Arkansas. I crossed the border into Arkansas, and right about there, near Jonesboro, I think I'm saying that right. I ran into this. So I'm just gonna lay it over the screen right now. So was driving down this 67. It's just a state highway that links up with the 57 interstate. You could drive in, start seeing some smoke ahead, cars start flashing me on the way, and then as I get closer, there's a brush fire basically. So drive in, see the brush fire, and some cars are stopped. So I get closer and basically the cars they're stopped. So I'm looking at this, and basically, okay, that's a problem. Now, you're not supposed to drive into smoke, right? That's bad. However, you can kind of tell, I don't know, I'm not sure if the camera does it justice, but you can tell this is just a brush fire that goes for maybe like, 50 feet, 100 feet, something like that. So if you just drive right through it, you should be fine. But generally, you're not supposed to drive into smoke. I'm planning on doing it because I can tell that the fire it's not a huge fire, right? If this is a forest fire, yeah, I'm just doing a U-turn in the middle of the road and I'm going the other direction, and yeah, I'm just not coming back. Find another way, right? But in this one, you could see the sides there. It's just a grass fire. So it's a problem. Not good. The wind is ripping at this point, and at this point it is a crosswind. The road, I'm going generally south, but the road of course winds a little bit. So sometimes I have a crosswind, and this is a crosswind right here. So the fire is spreading really fast. I think this thing probably was only going for about 10 minutes before I showed up there. But it's spreading pretty fast because the wind, basically. But I'm still planning on going through. It's just a grass fire. I'm just going to get through it. However, what happens at this point, so you can see ahead. You can see the cars ahead. There's a couple trucks in front of me, right? I stop way short because I know I don't want to stop over there. And the reason why I don't want to stop over there because that's where the smoke is. So you basically got a couple fairly reasonable options in this instance. Either A, you don't drive through the smoke and you just stop and you wait far back like I'm doing, or B, you just go for it and you just drive through the smoke real quick and you get past it. I'm sure a firefighter wouldn't necessarily endorse the second one, but that's definitely what I'm planning, straight up. However, those are really the two main options. Okay, so there's a four-wheeler who decides to go for option 3. And option 3, which is what he decides on, is to stop in the smoke. Not before it, not after it. He drives into the smoke and then he stops. He just stops in the smoke, which is obviously a very bad idea. And the reason why this video is muted right now is because you see that truck there, and I think there's a one ahead of him as well, are going nuts over the CB radio, calling this four-wheeler every name in the book. And pretty justifiably so. So, basically it's not YouTube friendly. Okay, I can't play the audio right now. There's F-bombs, there's a couple R words, moron, idiot, every name in the book is being yelled over the CB radio right now. So I can't show you the audio, but you can imagine what it's like, because this four-wheeler is stopped in the smoke, which goes for about 100 feet. That's how big the smoke is. And then, but it kind of waves around, right? It doesn't stay still. So the four-wheeler is stopped in the smoke, and he's causing about 2 trucks and a couple other four-wheelers to also have to stop in the smoke. So yeah, that's what this guy does. He stops in the smoke and he sits there for, I don't know, I'm looking at the timeline right now, about 3 or 4 minutes. He just sits in the smoke. I don't know what we're thinking here. You just got to drive forward. Again, it's not that big of a fire. You just drive through it and you should be fine. But he stops in the smoke. Okay, so anyways, finally the wind kind of shifts, and I think he realizes maybe the wind stops. Maybe the wind actually causes the smoke to not be in his face, and that's when he decides it's a good idea, or she. I don't know if it was a guy or girl. But anyway, so yeah, he finally starts to go, and I get through it, and you can kind of see what happens here. So I'll try to play it at the right time with my voice here. But yeah, we start going, and yeah, that was a rough one. So again, it wasn't a big fire. You can see kind of what's happened here. I get in the shoulder. Now, I don't recommend necessarily doing this. This is just what I did. But yeah, real bad visibility. So that's what happened there. And I'm pretty sure this guy stopped dead nuts in the center of the smoke. So that's what he did. But you get through it, and it's fine, right? I mean, yeah, it only lasted like 100 feet or something like that. But that happens there. So that's the first event that happened. And I'm just going to basically fast forward this like times 32 or something like that, just to show you what happens next. So let's see here. Give me a second. Yeah, so basically fast forwarded it so you can see how close these events were. This was about 20 minutes later, driving down the road, and I see the dust cloud forming, and then start to get closer, and it just turns into just a complete dust cloud. Now, it is interesting. The dust clouds are caused by farmers tilling their fields and then the wind blowing up. And then find the spot here, right? I'm gonna stop it here. Let me find it on my screen though. Right here, you see a tractor there. So I'm not sure if that tractor did it, but I think he probably did. So I think that tractor, that farmer there, tilled his field in the wind and caused this dust cloud. which is a bit of a problem because you see here a few minutes later, a second later, yeah. So basically, not sure how it happened exactly, but this could have been really bad if I had been going too fast. I definitely could have plowed this, guys, and the camera can see further than I can right now. There's a huge glare because, you know, it's just yellow dust and then the sun's out. So this camera can actually see, it can see further than I can. So that was pretty bad and could have been really bad. So yeah, that was crazy. Then get past it. You guys, you know, you already saw this in the intro. So I sit there and I'm just stopped there because I'm worried about, like, it's better, like, if somebody's gonna rear end this, it's probably better they rear end my trailer rather than the cars there, because that's gonna kill them. But sit there for around 30 seconds, a minute, I'm not sure, something like that. Let the cars kind of back up behind me because, you know, I don't, you know, someone could easily plow this. Sit there, just not sure how to handle it exactly. This clearly happened like 5 minutes ago or something like that. But for one, there's no getting out of the rig right now. The dust cloud is like suffocating. So if you can't get out of the rig right now, you need a mask, you need a gas mask right now. So again, the camera can see a lot further than I can right now. This is like very low visibility. I barely saw them when I stopped. So there's no getting out of the car. There's no getting out of the truck. Not sure how to handle it. Definitely want to stop for a minute and make sure the cars are backed up behind me, so they're stopped. I want the cars behind me to stop where the dust cloud isn't, right? Before the dust cloud, so they can see something's happening. Sit there for a minute or two or whatever it is and decide, okay, and try to go around. I'm gonna look at them as I'm going through. So that's what I do. I start to drive around them. I look in to the vehicle. I can barely see inside their vehicles, and it looks like everybody's fine. It's just a fender bender, basically. So I don't think anybody's hurt, which is good. I think it's just a fender bender. So yeah, that's what happened there. Keep going, and then you kind of start to see there's like multiple other accidents in this insane dust cloud here. So yeah, that was really bad. Really bad. I don't think anybody was seriously injured though. I think everybody was fine. So interesting there. That happened. About 10 cars, I think, because there were accidents on the other side as well. It wasn't just my side, although the side I was on had the most accidents, I think. So that happened. And then it got even more interesting because you see the cops and the firefighters coming toward you. I don't think they were responding to this. I think they were responding to the fire like 20 miles down. And then they ran into this. Because I think this just happened. I don't think these firefighters and those cops were responding to the accident. I think they were responding to the fire, and then on the way, they ran into this. So that was crazy. Again, I think everybody was fine, but it just shows kind of the dangers of trucking, what can happen. This was probably the craziest day of driving I've had, maybe ever. I think probably ever. I've had some bad ones in Wyoming as well, but that was a little different. Like this, I think this one took the cake, and there wasn't even ice involved. So it's just wind, dust, and fire, right? So crazy day. Wanted to show it. Make sure you're paying attention out there, and make sure you're looking out and driving slow, especially when there's like some sort of event right here. But yeah, that happened. And yeah, I basically drove a little further. The wind was still ripping for the rest of the day. That sucked, but stopped and then got myself a coffee and unwound for a bit. So that could have been really bad though. If I had been going and not paying attention, I could have very easily plowed those guys. So fortunately though, I was paying attention and I stopped. But yeah, that happened. So anyways, okay, yeah, so dropped that load, got through that wind, got through all the craziness there. Everything worked out fine. Dropped the load Thursday morning. So I dropped it Thursday morning, and at that point, looking to do a short load to get into Friday. So I wanted to grab like a real short one, high profitability one from the area, go a couple 100 miles, get, you know, whatever, drop it on Friday, because I dropped the Hope, Arkansas one on Thursday morning. I wanted to grab a short one and drop it Friday morning and hopefully get into a better market. So that's what I did. So I ended up finding this load right here. I'll put it over here. This one's going from Norman, Arkansas to Memphis, Tennessee. It's about an hour away. This one worked out really well though. Pay was me, you know, it's just a filler load is all it really was. Had to deadhead about 70 miles to Norman, Arkansas. But the nice thing was this was first come, first serve on Thursday, and then first come, first serve on Friday. So that worked out really well. So I grabbed it Thursday about noon or something like that, and then I dropped it in Memphis, Tennessee Friday morning, and then I was ready to go for a weekend load and go from there. But anyways, grab this one, and we're headed to Memphis, Tennessee. So let's go. Okay, yeah, so then dropped the Memphis load Friday morning, and then at that point was looking for a long load to get me through the weekend, and I did end up finding one going from Tupelo, Mississippi, which is about an hour down the road, headed to Menominee, Wisconsin, which is actually right next to Rice Lake, so basically same load sort of thing. So basically going back to Menominee / Rice Lake, Wisconsin, but since it's Friday, that's going to be the end of the week, and because it's the end of the week, the Menominee load is not going to make a paycheck, so we're going to get into the spreadsheet right now. Okay, so before we begin, a couple housekeeping notes. Last week, I had 2 errors in the spreadsheet, basically. So this fuel up right here to Tennessee, I had it short like $300. Basically, I just typed in the wrong number effectively. So that happened. So a short $300 there, and then my fixed costs actually weren't calculated into the overall expenses right here. So in the end, I was short about $700 on the previous episode. So I think I had it at like $3,200, when in fact I only made $2,600 right there. It's corrected now. You guys caught it. Yeah, you guys caught it. I'm a human being. There's a lot of numbers here. I am hand jamming all these numbers for the most part. So there's definitely going to be errors from time to time. But yeah, not my finest work last week, but you guys caught it. It's corrected now. And yeah, but not my first mistake, and it isn't going to be my last. But thank you for catching that, and it has been corrected. So just housekeeping note there. So anyways, let's get into week 3 though. For week 3, we did 3 loads. In those 3 loads, we got 2,653 miles. Paid a total of $4,500 at $1.70 per mile. Fuel expenses, we fueled up 4 times. In those 4 times, we spent $823 at 31 cents per mile. And there were no maintenance expenses this week. Other expenses, OTR factoring, 138, scales, 42, parking, 24, for a total of $204 at 8 cents per mile. Fixed costs, we only had 1 fixed cost this week. That was our trailer payment. So our trailer payment is $687 per month, and it came in. So $687 equals 26 cents per mile. All right, totals for week 3. Total expenses were $1,715 at 65 cents per mile. Total revenue was $4,500 at $1.70 per mile. That brought our net settlement to $2,784 at $1.05 per mile. Okay, yeah, so going over week 3, pretty standard week, pretty run-of-the-mill, I would say. So 3 loads, 2,600 miles. I did lose a day because I was playing those stupid games up in, after this Rice Lake load. Tried to basically get another couple $100 out of a broker, and it backfired in my face. So we did effectively lose a whole day up there. You know, if I have an extra maybe 400 miles, you know, that's going to help quite a bit. So that happened. Other than that, pretty standard. 3 loads, just running north to south. Basically, that's my plan here. Did have this short one, a filler load right there. Loads not paying great, right? So these loads not doing too hot, to be honest. $1.70 per mile. That's not good. Not sure what to say. Not very good. So the $1.70 here does include this deadhead right here, but these numbers right here do not include the deadhead. If you can back out the deadhead, I think I'm probably booking lows for maybe $1.85 or something. Well, let's do it real quick. Let's see. Yeah, $1.92. So I'm booking those for $1.92 per mile before deadhead. After you calculated the deadhead, though, it does go down to $1.70 per mile. So booking lows for $1.90 per mile in this market with a brand new MC, it is what it is. I'm sure you can eke out, if I was a little better at negotiating or whatever, I can maybe eke out 5 or 10 cents more per mile, but I'm not that good. I'm sure somebody will comment in the comment section about how they are that good and they get $6 per mile or something like that and make $500,000 a week. But I'm just not that good, and these are my numbers. So still working at it, still learning. As time goes on, I'll have more access to more brokerages. Right now, just focusing on TQL and CH Robinson, and all of these loads or TQL. And I think when I look back at it, I've only hauled one load with CH Robinson. It's not because I'm not trying to haul loads with CH Robinson. It's just that in the areas I've been in, TQL has more loads available, and I'm able to book with them a little bit better. So far, basically for the last 3 weeks, all but one load has been with TQL. I'm just focusing on TQL and CH Robinson because those are the biggest ones, and they work with new brokers or new carriers. So that's what I'm doing. And these are the numbers. So there you go. As time moves on, I will find other brokerages, but right now, just focusing on really TQL, if we're being honest. So it is what it is. And then moving on to expenses, pretty standard stuff here. 4 fuel ups. I think on this one right here, I think I was grabbing just a shower out of Love's in Minnesota. That's why it's 52 gallons. And I think right here, I just needed DEF or something like that. I was trying not to fuel up in Wisconsin/Minnesota because fuel's a little more expensive. I was waiting to get to Arkansas. And I think I did the same thing here in Illinois. I was just sort of doing like 50 or 60 gallons at a time to get to Illinois or to get to Arkansas. So that's what happened there. Fuel expense was maybe somewhat low. So fuel prices are dropping, 31 cents per mile. That's pretty normal. So pretty normal fuel expense. Other than that, yeah, no maintenance expenses. OTR factoring came in. That's that. I did scale quite a few times because my loads were heavy, which kind of saved me because I was able to continue through the wind. So good and bad, right? But heavy loads, but I had to scale them. And then I think I paid $24 for parking at a TA or something because I was trying to get really far and I needed to pay for parking that day. So paid for parking. And that's about it. Oh, trailer payment. Yeah, so my trailer payment is $687 per month. That's what it is. I think I don't know if I mentioned it. I did buy a former decommissioned Landstar trailer. So bought a Landstar trailer. You can still kind of see the decals that have been pulled off of it. Going good. I wanted to buy a Landstar trailer because I knew how they were maintained, and I was like, okay, that's good enough. And they also have the auto inflate and air ride and everything like that. So I did get that. Some of you guys have been asking to do a like a breakdown of the truck and everything in the trailer. Like a what's my crib look like sort of episode. I might do one of those in the future. Right now I don't have time for it, straight up. So might do that in the future. But yeah, my trailer payment is $687. It's a Vanguard former Landstar trailer, so that's what I got. So that's that. My insurance payment is coming in next week. So on the next episode, it's going to be a $2K insurance payment. It just comes in once a month for bam, $2K. So I'm paying $2K a month. I think that's pretty high, but it is what it is. I am getting it through Progressive, so that's who I'm getting it through. And yeah, that's a lot. Insurance costs have spiked in the last couple of years. So if you got your insurance like last year or the year before, I would hang on to it because in the last year or two, insurance payments have spiked significantly. Now I am a new authority, so it's going to be expensive. However, I don't have like any tickets or anything like that, and my truck isn't like that all that expensive or anything like that. I think if you're looking to get insurance and you're a new authority, it's going to cost you about $2K. So just be aware of that. There's nothing in my record that would give me a higher insurance rate. So yeah, mine's $2K a month, and it's coming next week, and be prepared for that. But yeah, that's about it. But that's next week anyway. So this week though, decent week. Expenses still pretty low. No maintenance expenses, no insurance payments that did not come in. Revenue little low. If I hadn't played stupid games on Monday with the Rice Lake load, that would probably be closer to 5K or maybe probably over 5K, I would guess. So it is what it is. I played stupid games and I got stupid prizes. So there it is. $1.70 per mile, including deadhead. So that does include deadhead. Yeah, not too great. Market needs to get better, and I need more access to more brokerages because right now I'm just pretty much doing TQL, and they're pretty low. Let's be honest here. So hopefully I can get that up to whatever. That does include deadhead again, so just be aware of that. But still, not too bad. $2,700, $1.05 per mile. Can't complain too much about that for week 3. Next week will be a really bad week because I got the insurance payment coming in though. So there you go. Okay, so touching on the overalls. So not going to spend too much time on this, on the overalls until I get more data available, because right now I'm still deep in the red. So as a reminder, I'm just going to scroll up for you guys. If you go to the very top of the spreadsheet, and by the way, the spreadsheet is in the About section down below. You can open it up, and then if you want to download it, just hit File, Download it, and you can download it. But if you open it up, you'll look at the top here, and I have startup costs up at the very, very top. This is what it costs to get my authority active. I spent $18,000 just getting my authority active. That was mostly insurance, DMV registration, and a down payment on a trailer. So it was all that were the big ones, and I ended up spending $18K. So I'm started right off the bat, $18,000 in the hole, and I'm still digging myself out. So you scroll all the way back down to the totals here. Right now we're down almost 10K still. So still in the red, 10K, chipping away at it though, doing a pretty good job. About 3K a week, give or take, something like that. So getting at it. But right now, all those are dry van, by the way, so I'm a dry van driver. But right now, there's not much use in going over any of this because it's all like in the negatives. So down here, you'll see averages and other information, but all my averages are negative. So this will calculate like my average weekly pay and stuff like that. But because it's in the negative right now, it doesn't do me any good. So there's that down there. Now we'll go ahead and we'll play devil's advocate here, and I'm going to go ahead and delete temporarily the startup costs, scroll back down, and then that'll give us a better idea of what the totals are. So total, since if you don't count the startup costs, which absolutely count, booking those for $1.80 per mile and pulling in $1.07 per mile after everything's said and done. So that's good. If I could do that, I think that'd be decent, right? My truck is paid off, so that's very noteworthy. I do not have a truck payment for these numbers, or ever since I started my authority, my truck has been paid off. So there's that. And yeah, $8,000 for 3 weeks, so 2,500, no, 2,800, whatever it is, per week would be the actual pay. Again, my insurance payment has not come in. Next week is going to be a bad week because the insurance payment is going to hit. But other than that, that's what I would have paid if you don't count the startup costs. So there's that. And yeah, but the startup costs absolutely count. So there they are, they're back. And right now we are down just shy of 10K so far, but we're chipping away at it. So there you go. Okay, yeah, so there is week 3. Pretty good week. Not too bad. Ran into all sorts of weather, so that was crazy road conditions there. Probably, that was definitely the worst I've driven through for a while. Just the wind and the fire, and then that the dust storm. That was pretty bad. Again, I've had some similar stuff in Wyoming, but I think that one took the cake, I think. So that was terrible. And then, just dealing with the wind all week. The only thing that kept me going was the fact that I was super heavy the entire time, and that kept me going. So anyways, there's that. Next week, do have the insurance payment coming in, so it's going to be a bad week, no doubt about it. And I'm also planning on taking a couple of days off. So there is a conference in Austin that I'll be attending next week, Friday and Saturday. So planning on going to Austin Friday and Saturday, but I'll probably get there Thursday, go to the conference Friday and Saturday, and then leave Sunday. So we'll see. It might cost me 4 days. So going to take a few days off this week, effectively. I will be in Austin. So if you're in Austin this week, I'm going to post this video probably Sunday. So I'll be in Austin on, let's see here, the 27th through the 30th-ish. Another note, OTR factoring. I am planning to use them for maybe like another week or two, and then probably not going to factor my loads anymore. It's nothing that OTR factoring did. It's just that, I'm not ashamed to admit it. After the $18,000 startup cost right there, yeah, my cash reserves were pretty low. So I was like, all right, I'm going to factor my loads for a little while because A, my cash reserves are low, and B, I want to have a factoring company in my back pocket just in case I want to factor loads in the future. So I am looking to no longer factor my loads here coming up in the future, probably in the next week or two, because I'm doing better. Still going to keep them. If you're interested in them, there is a link in the about section down below. Please use that link if you need a factoring company. I do recommend them, but I just don't need to factor my loads anymore, whether it's with them or some other factoring company. I'm doing fine at this point, so I'm no longer intending to factor my loads. I think I'll probably do it next week, and then we'll figure it out from there, but I don't think I'm going to keep factoring my loads. Nothing OTR factoring did. I don't need to factor my loads anymore, so that's that. Now, going forward, usually it'll take like 18 days, 20 days for most brokerages to pay. I'm not going to wait until I get paid by the brokerage to put it into the spreadsheet, just to be clear here, because if I do that, things are going to get super weird. If I haul a load from Mapleton, Georgia and Rice Lake, Wisconsin, and then I get paid right away, but then like a load that I hauled 2 weeks ago or whatever comes in, it'll get really weird because it'll be like, okay, you went from Mableton, Georgia to Rice Lake, Wisconsin. And then on your spreadsheet here, you got a load from, Southern California to Salt Lake City, Utah. Like, those are on 2 separate sides of the country. How did I do that? And it's going to get all weird. So in the future, not going to keep factoring my loads. However, what I will do is I will just post the loads as soon as I deliver them, assuming I will get paid. And I guess if for whatever reason I don't get paid, well, I guess I'll update it and let you guys know why I didn't get paid. Not very likely to happen, generally speaking, but that's what's happening. So not planning on factoring my loads for too much longer. And just an announcement there. However, if you do need a factoring company, I would recommend OTR Factoring, and there is a link in the About section down below. Feel free to use it. Also, again, if you're interested in this spreadsheet, it's also in the About section down below. Just hit File, Download it to Microsoft Excel sheet, and then after you download it to an Excel sheet, you are free to use it however you please. But that will pretty much do it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.